Hi, Bulldogs. This is Miss Fowler. I'm going to book talk the book March Forward Girl by Melba Patillo Beals. And she is one of the Little Rock Nine. If you've never heard of them, you can go on to Britannica School through Discus and read a little bit about them. The Little Rock Nine was a group of African American high school students who challenged racial segregation in public schools in Little Rock, Arkansas. So there were nine students. The year was 1957. And if you think about it, it really was not that long ago. And they enrolled at the all white school, Little Rock Central High School. And this was 3 years after it had been deemed unconstitutional to segregate schools. So these students arrived at the school and were greeted by angry mobs of white people throwing things at them and threatening to kill the students. And even though there was a federal order that these kids were allowed to go to school, um, people did not like it and protested. And it was just a really, I'm sure it was a really stressful time for these students. So Melba Patillo Beals wrote a biography about her experience, her life, and particularly about her experience as being one of the Little Rock Nine. So here's the cover. March Forward Girl. Chapter 1. I'll figure it out later. The first thing I remember about being a person living in Little Rock, Arkansas during the 1940s is the gut-wrenching fear in my heart and in my tummy that I was in danger. I didn't know why exactly, but clouds of dread engulfed me every evening when the day turned to night. I sensed it from the very first moment of consciousness that I was in a living in a place where I was not welcome. By age 3, I realized the culture of this small town in the deep South was such that the color of my skin framed the entire scope of my life. It brought with it many ground rules designed to imprison and control everyone who was not white. Of the 88,000 residents, 66,000 were white, while 22,000 were black. The white people and the black people lived in separate worlds that seemed to intersect only when absolutely necessary. My big questions from the beginning were, who set up my community that way and why? And why do whites get more privileges than I do? More houses, more books, more pets, more food, more merchandise in all the downtown stores, all the police officers and firefighters, and all the transportation. Even the city buses belong to them. When I felt frightened and overwhelmed, which is often, I would clench my fists so hard that my knuckles would hurt. Then I would press my hands open into the sides as hard as I could. I would let go and do it again and again until I felt in control of the terror bubbling inside me. In order to feel safe, I always wanted to stay home with my mother, Lois, my grandma, India, my papa, Will, and my baby brother, Conrad. Sometimes I stayed in my own room with my Raggedy Ann doll, whom I called Millie, my other stuffed animals, and my books. It was the only place I felt totally safe, as if I belonged. There was love and good in that small world for me. There was nobody there to be mean to me and call me names. So if this sounds like a book that you would like, it is the true story, the autobiography of Melba Patillo Beals, one of the Little Rock Nine. You can put it on hold in Destiny, and I will deliver it to you. Thanks.